13 and a half. Today is the 18th day of June in the year 2019, Anno Domini. This is Bob's Bullpen.
The views expressed by the host during his monologue are those solely of his own, not those of Westfield State University, the Radio Club, which is in recess for the summer, our underwriters, or Jessica Martin heading home. And now...
You know what, Pete?
What's going on, Kent?
What a surprise it was to see a launch scheduled in Virginia for mid-October.
I know.
This is about a month earlier than what we are accustomed to.
Yeah?
We usually have the pleasure of questionable weather in November.
Yes.
So think how excited I was that we would be going down during fairer weather. And then something happened locally.
Really?
Something that you and I are both committed to being a part of.
Right.
The date for what we committed to was changed to a week later.
Yeah.
The same weekend as the launch.
Yep.
How could you? I know where it's going.
I'm not saying what it is, but Bob is figuring it out.
Yeah.
And it's orange, not like Trump.
My heart sank. The last launch, it was you and hashtag girlfriend.
Yes.
Everybody take a drink.
Glug, glug.
I was out of it. Not wanted. Excluded. With the strong possibility of missing a fall launch, this can never be risked again. Hashtag better get used to the idea of being a third party to these launches. We do go to film and broadcast it, after all.
Yes.
Does hashtag know what a modulator is? Does hashtag know what phantom power is? Does hashtag know what an FM exciter is? Does hashtag know what an XLR is?
Can hashtag carry something?
Does hashtag know what a compression limiter is?
Does she really need to know that?
I think I've made my point.
I don't know.
She is welcome to tag along so long she helps schlep the equipment with us.
Oh, gosh.
And we will get our own rooms like we usually do so that there's no feeling of awkwardness. From what she told me after your trip down in the spring, I wouldn't want to be in that same room with you anyways.
I remember that.
And if your missions chase her out of the room, she will not be coming into mine because I will probably be doing the exact same thing.
Yes.
She will have to accept it is a trip with the boys. And boys will be boys. Is your passenger window still broken?
It's iffy.
No matter if she or I are riding shotgun, it will not matter because she will end up enjoying the result of someone eating a chimichanga and taking a metformin before hitting the road. I need to take every opportunity there is to head out to a lunch because you never really know when you will be able to make it to the next one.
I know. I'm bummed. Falcon Heavy's a couple of days.
The best hope we have going for us now is that it is rescheduled ASAP to a better launch window in November when I know we can make it. Mm-hmm. There's not as much daylight in November as well, so that would make a much better chance for a night launch.
Yeah.
Which is awesome sauce, although there is that one guy at the press conference who always apologizes for the time we have to show up for those.
True.
Speaking of sauce, we have a chef in here today. Get it? Awesome sauce.
I saw what
Yeah.
you did.
Mhm.
Good one.
Nice segue.
Perhaps we can talk about sauces that can be prepared when you sous vide something.
Oh, no.
And you don't have any fond in the bottom of a pan that you can use to build a nice pan sauce.
Your new toy.
Yes, I said sous vide.
What the heck is
That
that?
French technique of cooking that uses an immersion circulator.
Yes.
I got one last week and I need to talk about it. Food, sauces, fond, and immersion circulators, all coming up on this edition of Ken's Den. We'll be back right after this.
Baby Trump do 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 baby Trump do 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 baby Trump do 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 baby Trump Mommy Trump do 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 Mommy Trump do 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 Mommy Trump do 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 Mommy Trump Daddy Trump do 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 Daddy Trump do 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 Daddy Trump do 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 Daddy Trump Grandma Trump do 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 Grandma Trump do 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 Grandma Trump do 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 Grandma Trump Grandpa Trump do 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 Grandpa Trump do 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 Grandpa Trump do 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 do
Gotta be cool, relax, get hit, get on my tracks, take a back seat, hitchhike, take a long ride on my motorbike until I'm ready, raise a little thing called this thing called love. I just bring a hand on this thing called love.
Programming of WSKB is provided by Comcast and Xfinity.com, offering Xfinity TV, Internet, home phone, and home security services. Information on all that Xfinity has to offer in the Westfield area is available online at Xfinity.com.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
Wednesday mornings from 6 till 8, it's Tina Gorman with Wake Up Wednesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
8:23 and a quarter.
Okay, that's a new one
Fair.
and a quarter.
You should have
I'm
ranted for
proud of
10
you.
more seconds.
Fair enough. You know what? It's not even 10 more seconds. It's like 2, and then I can say 8:23 and a half.
Okay, go for it.
All right? I just did.
Okay.
All right? It's the 18th day of June, year 2019, Anno Domini. This is the Den, Ken's Den. Ken Stomsky behind the microphone in front of the radio Millennium Board. Kitten of the Coals, Chairman Meow.
Kitten of the Coals? I like it.
Is that what I said? Kitten of the Coals?
Yeah, that's what she said.
Oh, I love it.
You know, I was trying to get to the June joke or whatever.
June Jumpstarter of Joyous Jumpstarter of June.
I'll never be able to get that right.
Neither will Bob.
Side chick extraordinaire.
I'm over here.
Kathy
scratching
Palmer in
away.
his house.
Here
You know, several things going on in my mind today. Yes, I'm a little worked up. I just
we noticed.
yesterday was just a
bad day?
day of idiots, and you know I pretty much have it behind me. I'm trying to figure out a way that I can continue my training and education without paying for it 100%. So I think I'll be working on that today and tomorrow. That's another story. I'll give you my progress report on that in the future.
Did you have that kind of a day, Ken?
Who's at my office door? My gosh, it's Ken Stomsky. Hey, Ken. Come right in.
It's gonna be one of those mornings.
Come right in. I think you probably are looking for me for your regular weekly appointment. Sit down.
I'm so glad I didn't book an early flight.
I don't know if
I
it's.
wish you had.
I don't know if it's so much therapy.
Yeah.
Than,
you just
than-
wanted to visit me?
than coming to talk to you about Pose, which had its first episode last week. Did you get a chance to watch it?
Oh my gosh, no.
No. Oh,
my
gee,
God.
you've had a week.
I know, and I'm trying to. You know how
See,
you
now-
have all these programs you have to finish the ending of. I finished Three Musketeers. I
don't care about the Three Musketeers. I watch Pose every week.
All right, I'm going to watch it tonight.
Well, that doesn't help me now because look, I have all my notes from that episode.
Oh my God,
Ken?
Ken.
I watched Pose last week.
Okay, good.
Oh.
So you didn't see the first season, but I have to tell you, the first 30 minutes,
Yeah.
okay, that was a completely different show than last year. And did you find it a little depressing?
I found it very intense. I don't know if I can stay watching it. It was just, yeah, it was too much for me to go to bed at night with.
What about towards the end of the show when they started the competing and the bickering back and forth again?
Well, I don't know the characters, so I can't really identify with a lot of it, and I kind of felt like I was in the middle of something I didn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going
you
to
have to go
clarify
back and
it for me.
watch season 1.
Probably.
When you say it's a totally different show.
The first 30 minutes was, and that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to ruin it for you.
Okay, got
I'm
it.
not going to tell you what happens with Electra at the end of the show.
I see.
But something
I
happens.
could tell you if you pay me.
Something happened with Electra.
It did. It did.
Blanca did get some bad news. That's all I'm going to say about the news.
Okay.
But
gotcha.
there's some really bad news that Blanca gets.
I see. All right.
You need to be prepared to watch this episode if you're into all these characters.
Oh, okay. So what I've always said is a Ryan Murphy show is worth watching, whether it's American Horror Story, The Assassination of Gianni Versace, oh gosh, Scream Queens, what is that other one? He did 6 Feet Under. Mm-hmm. Ryan Murphy is the producer of so many wonderfully quality things, and Pose for me is a look at a world that we don't know, and it's the world of balls in Harlem during the this takes place in the 90s right now.
Now it's 1990.
90. Before it was the early 80s.
It was 88.
It was 88. So this is 2 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Or 87 maybe.
Yeah.
I forget if it jumped 2 or 3 years, but
I see.
you know, this is the time, and we mentioned last week how Madonna came out with the song Vogue.
Yes.
All right.
Right.
That plays a big part of this episode because everybody at the ball thinks Madonna stole the stuff that they've been doing for years and years.
Of course.
So
And,
it's a very interesting first episode.
In Pride Month, I would say that the balls in Harlem were the place where folks who were different had an opportunity to really be themselves and to not have to worry about police being shamed. They could really find their real identity. And quite honestly, without the balls in Harlem, a lot of people would have been on the street, would have been suffering, and in the history of gay history, quite honestly, it is a real juncture. And so I give Ryan Murphy credit for introducing to the all worlds, for all of us, Kathy, Ken, Peter, myself, a world into a look into a world that we don't know, and to recognize that family is family and people are people, regardless of where they are.
And because you didn't even watch the damn show, Bob, you're not allowed to talk about it anymore.
No, it's not this time.
Oh, yes, it's coming up. It's a week next week.
Look, I did enough watching Pose.
Yeah, you watched Pose. Now we're going to beg you to watch the new season of
I can't
Big
do it.
Brother.
Okay, so Bob,
Peter,
Yes, my
help.
friend.
I have already seen each and every contestant get interviewed.
You've watched it. You have.
It's exclusive to CBS All Access, which is where you get the live feeds, and you know that I subscribe to that. So, 11 o'clock yesterday morning, they they started putting out the interviews with Jeff from season 9 or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Jeff and Jordan.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So I have a little bit of an insight to who is going to be on.
Oh, really?
Now, I don't have the full bios with ages and photos,
Right.
but basically a quick rundown, and you can take this printout with you, and when you watch the show next week,
right,
we'll figure out our nicknames. So the first Tuesday of July, we'll reveal our nicknames for these people.
So the first name on the list, her name is Annalise.
Annalise, and
Annalise. It looks like analyst. She's right up my alley. Analyst Talavera. Yeah. An L.A. college grad, soccer player, not working. Well, of course, she's going to give up the summer to be in the Big Brother house.
Oh no, she just went to school and just never went on to work.
Oh,
so now.
She's living with her parents.
Now, what you see written down here is my take. All right, it's not what they really said.
Oh,
all right. But she did say that she does not care if America hates her, so she might pull some stuff. Another person is Sam Smith from Pennsylvania. He's a truck driver, but he's married and has a family. And there was mention that he might have a problem not being around his kids and family, so that might come into play.
Is that the guy that I read was a crier? There's somebody that cries on a button.
This guy might be it. David Alexander from Atlanta is a photographer. All right. Now he's a recent fan, and he basically comes out and says he wants to be friendly. Mm-hmm. I can see this guy going somewhere. Yeah. Somebody else is Jessica from Chicago. She's a plus-size model. All right, and from what I took, it seems like she could be a big-mouth professional troublemaker. All right, she is married with kids, so she has.
You need a troublemaker on this show.
Yeah, I think she might be the one. And again, when you watch this next week, we'll see how close I am.
Okay, got it. So this is so Jessica may be troublemaking.
Yep. Holly Allen is from L.A. They got a lot of people from L.A. today. She's a safari guide and a sommelier. Basically,
wait a minute.
Basically, they have exotic animals at a vineyard, so they let people.
What?
They let people play and touch with giraffes and whatnot when they
Pet
go out
the
there and learn
animal,
about
get
wine.
drunk, and then put your head into the lion's mouth.
She did study past players, and she grew up in Wyoming. She seems to be
cowgirl.
Well, she seems to be really stable. Nick from New Jersey, listen to this. He's a mental health therapist.
Oh my God! No.
But he's been watching the show since Big Brother 17, and he claims he will call people out on their behavior.
He
Yeah.
knows how to manage people. Actually, it'll be really interesting to see a therapist on a show where people are in a trying to get along as a group of people. Do you think he's going to have group therapy sessions?
He's
in
my
there?
dark horse.
He's the one who might.
Nick Macarone.
Yep. Jack is from Tampa. He's a videographer. Now he's the one on the show that looks like a yuppie with the man bun and the beard. Okay.
Oh, okay, alrighty.
But from what I've seen, from what I read, he's competitive in sports, and he says he wants to win vetoes and not head of households. So it's a slightly different theory there. He doesn't want to be a head of household. He only wants to win vetoes.
Well, he's also not very intelligent because he's giving out his secret.
Yeah. Now, I didn't cut and paste the name for
who's that? This public health
next
analyst.
person. There's she is in L.A. She was born in Jersey. This woman, she moved to L.A. to help work with the homeless. And I'm just kind of hoping that maybe when she's out there, she can pick some of the crap and needles up off the street when she's helping them out.
For Pete's sake.
She claims to have a bad memory, so she might not do well in some contests.
Is she the one that has colored hair? I wonder. There was one that colors her hair red.
I'm getting to her.
Oh, okay, go on.
Nicole from Long Island. She's a preschool aide. All right, she could be this year's rock star. Remember her? That's what you're thinking about with coloring their hair.
Oh my God, the older woman who colors her hair.
All right,
exactly.
Now this person comes off smart, claims she's smart, but comes off as dumb. So
I know a lot of those kind of folks.
Kemi is from Brooklyn. She's a marketing strategist. Yep. She says, now check this out. She says that she's been a fan for a year, but watching for 10 years.
How does that work?
Become an obsessive fan.
She may become this year's diva, if you remember Diva from last year.
Yes.
Jackson is from Nashville. He's into sales and he's a bartender. He claims to be a good strategist, and he does look like a physical threat. He did come right out and said, I want to win the first HOH. Which
that's not a smart idea.
No. You're an idiot.
Head of household.
That's like going to Vegas and placing a bet on roulette. It's a sucker bet. Ovi is from Tennessee. He's a college grad, and because of that, he has no job. Claims he knows he may have to backstab somebody. And he's a nice guy, but I can't get a read on him. So check him out.
Yeah, Ovi Kabir. So he is probably.
Don't even go there. There's no need to.
No. Well, don't.
No.
All right.
No.
Well, no, because
Jesus Christ, I don't believe I just had to say that.
No.
Okay,
But I wanted to say that they
cast.
They always cast outsiders.
The guests are diverse. Okay.
What was that?
The cast is diverse.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
All right.
That's what I.
Catherine from Dallas. She's in the marketing. She says she will miss her dog. All right. Now this woman was sweating visibly under her makeup. All right, and her chest and arms were just covered with sweat. And she says that she wants to stab people in their backs. And
well, that knife is going to slip right through her hands.
I think she might be the ditz of the year. Okay. Then we have Tommy from Staten Island. He's a Broadway dancer and the token gay.
That's what I said. Every time they always want to have one of these. They always want difference.
It's called diversity, Bob.
So we have the token gay. Now,
you're intolerant if you don't support diversity.
I'm telling. I support diversity.
Are you a Fox News watcher now too? Is there something you're not telling us?
I heard this morning before I came in that Bob's turning into a conservative.
No, I'm not turning.
He wants to go live in a monastery.
Joining the monastery.
Things are driving him nuts.
So we have the token gay. Now, he idolizes Ian, if you remember Ian.
I remember
All right,
Ian.
and he wants to play like him. He doesn't want to be a threat.
Yeah.
And now a disclaimer, all right? You know, he never said he was gay, but he was setting off a lot of gaydar during that interview. All right? So,
interesting.
yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah, you know. Cliff Hogg III is from Houston,
Cliff
Texas.
Hogg
He's
III.
He's a petroleum engineer, and he must be the only person over 40 in the entire group.
Oh, he's got to be in his 50s. I saw the picture.
He is a super fan and been watching since season 8. So, you know, he should go far for entertainment until he becomes a mental threat to people.
Why do they have always one or two older folks?
To be diverse, Bob. We just talked about it.
I know, but they should have a 40-year-old, a 30-year-old, a 20-year-old.
Yeah, they got 20s and 30s in this crowd.
No, they don't have any 40s. I bet he's 50.
I think he's over 50.
Oh yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Chris,
and he'll be out of the picture within 10 minutes.
I think they're gonna. He's gonna be like a daddy figure to some of these girls, and I think they're gonna hold on to him until they realize he is a threat because he is smart. And then, last but not least, we have Christy from New Jersey. She owns a clothing boutique called Mystic Earth.
Every year,
All right,
every year they have somebody who's like a mystic, some reads cards, something like that.
She's possibly going to be the Bailey this season, if you remember her.
Yeah.
So
she's a token hippie.
So she also sells oils and sage, and she will use the sage on you if she gets a bad feeling when you go in to buy her clothes.
Right, the token hippie.
Wait a minute. She will use the sage on you if she gets a bad fit when you go in to buy. So she puts sage on her customers when they're buying clothes?
I don't know.
You burn sage, and it creates a better
Kathy, what do you
aura
think?
about
Do you think you're going to have a good time with this season?
I think I'm going to be home reading a book.
All right, so that's the Big Brother contestants in a wrap-up.
Big Brother starts on Tuesday and Wednesday night?
Yes, next week. And next week we'll watch it. We'll see how close I came to my predictions.
All right, good.
And then the following week we'll do our nicknames.
Yeah,
and then by next week you'll have 2 episodes of Pose to catch up on.
I've got a lot of work to do here. I got a lot of work.
Plus, you have to get out of here to go watch Regis and Kathy Lee.
I do, but I also wanted to say that, John, I saw you, John, your Chef John Slattery is on your program today. It seems
affirmative.
Right there. I saw him on television this week.
Hi, Bob.
Hi. Hey, John, you are such a good television chef. I want you to have your own program.
Well, I thank you for that support, Bob.
Yes, yeah. Now, I also wanted to ask you a question. What am I'm not supposed, now I find out I'm a little high in my triglycerides.
You're high, Bob?
High, on my triglycerides. So I got to lower my triglyceride count. And it turns out I'm not supposed to have sugar or honey or any kind of what am I going to flavor and how do I make a scone without sugar or honey?
Oh, my goodness, Bob.
Can you come up with anything that's going to flavor my sweeten?
I'm guessing, and I don't know because I'm not a doctor or a nutritionist, you have to double check.
Right.
But the stevia being a natural and such a high concentrated sweetener might be okay in some applications. So that would be something to look at. And Ken can talk better to this because of his diabetes.
The agave is not as bad as sugar and honey as well.
Agave, I definitely would be my first suggestion, but I know that's still pretty high in the up there as far as. So I don't know if stevia is even lower than that. But
or I could or learn to. Is there such a thing as learning to eat without sweet? I mean,
people do it, but I don't know how.
They've been doing it in Russia for 500 years, Bob.
Maybe I am going into the monastery. At any rate, bye. Thanks. Get out there and volunteer, everyone.
But
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Westfield Bank. For more than 160 years, Westfield Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley. With convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut, visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org.
Support for community radio on WSKB provided by Westfield Electroplating. Employing over 140 skilled platers, painters, and technicians, Westfield Electroplating was founded in 1946 and was the first company in the country to achieve National Aerospace and Defense Contractor Program accreditation, proudly maintaining that status for over a decade. Westfield Electroplating provides over 50 quality finishes to meet your corrosion, cosmetic, or performance needs. On the web at www.westfieldplating.com or 413-568-3716. Westfield Electroplating, putting the finishing touches on technology.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
It's Tuesday morning from 6 till 8. Wow, it's Tuesday with Bob Plass.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Lumpy.
Wumpky.
You're not even saying it right.
Say it.
Bob.
Say it.
Say it, Pete.
Go Wumpky.
Go Wumpky.
That's what I
Wumpky.
said.
Go Wumpky.
Go Wumpky.
Go Wumpky.
Go Wumpky.
Wumpky.
Yeah, because the L has a slash through it, which is a W sound in the Polish language.
Okay.
Okay.
Wumpky.
Gwumpki.
Wumpky.
Yeah, there's no,
Say
it's not
it.
Galumki, it's
Wumpky.
Gwumpki.
Wumpky.
It sounds delicious.
8:47 in the morning.
Oh, sure, end on my comment.
That wasn't your comment.
It sounds delicious?
Yeah, that wasn't you.
I thought that was me. It sounds like me.
No, that was Stephen.
Donnelly?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yes.
That wasn't a Family Guy skit.
That was a Bob Plass special.
Oh, you want me to do the Family Guy version of
No,
that?
I don't. No Family Guy.
I have four.
I thought we were in vain. I thought we were there already.
I have 5 different ones.
Oh, no.
Good morning, Ken.
What time do I have you till?
We got like 10 or so minutes. We can talk now.
Okay.
I need a 5-minute break or whatever.
All right.
Something like that.
After this month, you won't need it for a couple months.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have the summer to us.
And this is your last time coming up to the studio here at Ely.
Oh, right. We're moving downtown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Downtown.
The next time you come on air will be at Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy.
Is that the room number?
Actually, well, I won't be here for that. We have to tape one with him. Because I leave the 13th.
I said the next time, which is going to be August.
Oh,
because
well,
July is...
Well, we could tape one.
If I feel like it.
We could move a camera outside and do grilling.
You guys come on location, and we could come out.
We could just roll a camera out. We could roll a fiber optic outside, and we could do grilling out back.
Ooh.
We have plenty of time to discuss this.
The wheels are turning in Kenny's head.
Where are you going?
Well, I work in July.
Oh.
Yeah, you see, July she's gone.
Oh.
I run a summer camp for Park
time
and
are you out?
Oh.
12 o'clock.
Oh, but we could do it in the tape in the
There
afternoon.
you go. Okay, I'm in. Okay.
Twisting your arm, shall we?
Barbecue, I'm in.
I guess one out of the 3 shows that you'll be gone for, we can pre-record.
Maybe I'll bring the smoker down.
Oh, then we can
invest
we can
that.
pre-record our morning show at lunchtime, so we can eat it right.
I can't invest that type of time.
No, I'll start it the night before and just leave it out.
Mm-hmm.
I like this idea.
So you're going to transport a hot smoker in the back of your Hyundai down to the Tech Academy?
Negative. I'll transport a cold smoker and
The night
heat it
before.
up there.
Dun, dun, dun. There are ways.
I'm not sure
Pete and I
about
can
leaving
confer
it.
on this. I'm sure there are ways we could.
The gate. We can lock the gate.
True.
Yeah,
True.
We have.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll sit there and tend my smoker until it's ready to go.
Did you guys know the first day of summer's this week?
Friday.
Yeah, cool stuff.
Hey, have you noticed that for some reason they still have fiddleheads at Stop and Shop right now?
Well,
what's up with that?
They come from Canada.
Okay, Canada, eh?
That's so it's funny like, now because of global produce that the things like that can continue to exist. And if they were stored properly, a fiddlehead can last stored properly in the right temperature for quite a while.
Yeah, they were on a styrofoam plate wrapped in plastic.
Well, they do that to order as they put them out at the store, probably.
Oh,
and keep
yeah.
them bulk stored somewhere else. But yeah, I saw them too, and it made me cringe a little bit. I was like, where are these coming from?
Yeah.
So, but as far as local native things go, did you see Mass Appeal this week?
Yes, I did.
I made chive blossom butter. With some lime in it over grilled swordfish.
And I have to apologize because I had called you out on the butter before seeing the entire segment because you called it an herb butter. And I know that as a compound butter. But then towards the second half, you did call it a compound butter.
Well, it is an herbed butter. The process of making that little log is a compound butter or something to that nature. But
Could I ask a question?
What is a compound butter?
Yeah. You're reading my mind, buddy. What is a compound butter?
A butter with stuff in it.
Okay.
So in general,
good to know.
You know,
there's
sometimes
butter
they call
with
it a hotel
stuff in
butter.
it.
Yeah. So garlic butter per se, you know garlic butter. So think of that. You know, it has garlic and parsley and pepper and things like that. And well, the process that we made our flavored butter into like a log, like you would do cookie dough, and put it in so that we can slice little slices. Of this butter, and in each slice are bits and pieces of what are in the butter.
So you soften the butter, you add herbs and spices to it, then mold it, and then cool it.
Sounds good.
And it is good, especially you take off a dollop of that and you throw it on a steak at the end.
Right, you know that last right after it comes out the grill and the steak is still hot, like the swordfish. It was so hot. You put the piece of butter on top, and the butter dissolves. And all that's left on top of the steak is the buttery flavoring, and then the bits and pieces of stuff you put in the.
That's what I do with my steaks. I cook some ribeyes.
Should you make a compound like a butter? So
I cook it in a cast iron and I spoon it.
Just regular butter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, which is
actually butter. I use butter and garlic usually.
Nice. A lot of
garlic powder.
Steak butter has Worcestershire sauce and parsley and like something like Montreal steak seasoning amount of spices already in the butter, so that when you melt it on the steak, it's kind of got that steaky flavor over the top. Yeah.
I just like the flavor of a good steak. Like BJ's makes the nice thick ones, so you like inch and a half, and you just you sear it on both sides and throw it in the oven. So I got them about medium well.
Something didn't sit right with me with what Pete just said there. BJ's makes them.
They have a butcher shop.
Yeah, they have a butcher shop.
Manufactured, however you want it.
Cut them.
Yeah.
The cut.
Yeah, are they doing this on a 3D printer with Edinami?
Oh, you know what I mean, you pain.
Maybe it's that manufactured
Food
beef they're
replicators are
doing.
real. Isn't that scary?
I wish.
You think about that. One of the Star franchises
Star Trek.
Had the really good had it, and one of their many versions where they just took the tray out and it had everything already on it, ready to eat and stuff like that. The replicator made it all, and now with the
Orville does too.
With 3D printing of edible substances. I mean, aren't we kind of there? I mean, it's
a lot quicker in the replicator.
Yeah, that's for sure. But
tea Earl Grey hot.
Frightening.
It is frightening in itself. Thank goodness that hopefully for a long, long time we'll still eat real food and work with farmers and dirt or hydroponics, I guess even, but at least eating things that are grown naturally to some extent and produced naturally.
And speaking of cooking with local things, that plate that you showed with the final product last week, that looked really, really good. I mean, that was some awesome plating, and it just looked delicious, too. Not just the fish, but you also did this thing with some beets.
Radishes.
Radishes. Now, those were local radishes already.
Yeah. So in Chicopee, where the TV studio is, where I grew up, McKinstry Market Farms has been there for almost 100 years. Their patriarch just passed away recently, but they always have some fantastic produce. And so anytime when I'm doing TV and they're advertising what they just picked today or the day before, I'll go and I'll grab it and bring it down to Maspeel. So those radishes were just so bright and vibrant. They had put a social media post up the day before, and I was like, oh, well, that's a home run component to my dish tomorrow.
I mean, they look gargantuan, and they were bright red.
Oh, they were just good. And then the greens were still in really good condition, and I talked about on Maspeel how even when you buy them at the farmer's market, if the greens are wilted, you can bring them back to life by watering them like a plant and putting them in the fridge. But so they made for a nice salad completely by the greens that we put on the bed that we could eat, as well as that nice bright crisp radish. They weren't too spicy, and then we just added simply some carrots, very finely diced, and some celery and some other spring onions, just to kind of accompany the swordfish. And the tender swordfish with the local butter, with the local chive blossoms. I went to the farm in Huntington, a family friend farm, and I harvested the chives, and some local asparagus had passed, but if you notice, I used it on the table
the floral display.
Over the weekend, those asparagus and chive blossoms in the floral displays made several different appearances throughout Western Massachusetts.
Oh, really?
But it was really a great opportunity to focus on some of the great produce that we had. And it was really cool. They had pre-recorded a segment with Connie from the Yellowstone House Farm here in Westfield, her organic operation. And so there's a whole bunch of local farm talk on the same show with people from Westfield. So it was a really, really good thing to see. And I always love being able to share information with the folks here in Western Massachusetts.
Now, that show has gone through a couple of female hosts recently, and you seem to get along fairly well with was it Flood or whatever her name is?
Alana Flood, our new host.
But I have noticed one thing lately, that Danny seems to end up moving in a little more often to sample and check things out. Am I seeing that, or has that always been the case?
It's just part of the dynamic of that show is that they have conversations about the things that are happening and relevant topics. So they try to mix in hosts. They can't necessarily both be on air all the time for segments, but they'll try and bring them in and cross-reference.
I always see them come in at the end of a cooking segment just to test out whatever was made.
Yeah, and maybe that's a new marketing scheme to put the show. Yeah, but that's to produce a cool show that engages people, and they're always trying to stick.
Yeah, I've only really noticed it maybe the past month where he's been doing that, and I think that's
and you
cool.
might have a keen eye that you pick up on that
because that's something that I would do. If I was behind the camera, I'd be talking to the control booth saying, Hey, look, get another shot. I'm going to walk over there and sample this. and you see it happen on talk shows on TV now and then. The grip goes over with their tool belt and their headset on, and they get involved.
Yeah.
That'd be totally me.
Well, I could see that happening, I suppose.
All right, you have to get somebody to school.
Yep, I'll be back in just a few minutes.
And you know what? It's going to be 8:58. By the time I get done talking, I think that's early enough to get us over the 9 o'clock hump. WSKB 89.5 FM Westfield.
Space.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Noble Hospital, a brand new name for a Westfield institution which is improving the health of our community every day with quality and compassion. Noble Hospital and Bay State Health, better together.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Discussions of local politics, events, happenings, and miscellany potpourri. Ken's Den, Tuesday, 8 to 10. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
You want an excuse to not go home this Christmas? Then fly Northwest Airlines. At Northwest Airlines, thousands of employees are dedicated to delaying and canceling flights so you won't get home for the holidays.
No way I'm getting you on your connecting flight.
No way we're taking off on time.
Don't worry, I'm taking this flight back to the gate.
Do you think Jeff will make it home this year?
No way, because Jeff flew Northwest.
Thanks, Northwest. I hate my family.
9:03.
Oh, that's awful.
Brought to you by Northwest Airlines, and obviously I played that for Pete.
Thanks.
Yeah, because
You'll get there.
You are going up in the
But
air.
it absolutely
shortly.
positively has to get there overnight.
Okay, you can do this. You can do this. How long is the flight?
Oh, they're both like an hour and a half each.
Oh, okay.
It's with Mom, though. So I'm sure I'll hear about everything I've done wrong for the past 47 years.
Well, that's our job. That is exactly what we're supposed to do. Just think of my daughter.
And in the car ride down, and then the hour and a half from Charlotte down to Columbia.
What airline?
Southwest. Southwest. I got the points for it.
Okay. Did you do the
what?
Yeah, I automatically do it, so I don't even think about it. It's the advance check-in.
No.
Okay. So
I am a person of size, so I need to go to the counter and talk to them.
Okay.
And I'm trying to get my mom pre-board too, so we can occupy a row.
Mm-hmm.
You can bring one person with you as a companion if you pre-board, right?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm a fat man, so I take more than one seat.
Mm-hmm.
So you go talk to the counter agent and you tell them that, and they book you through.
I don't know, when we were on a bus down in Virginia going out to a launch pad, you and I made it into 2 seats on that bus.
It's not comfortable, but
no,
yes.
It wasn't, but it worked.
Yeah, it worked. It worked.
Yeah, I forget about that. So you still have to check in, though.
Yes.
So did you get on your Southwest app and check in?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because I read some people saying if you check in early, that could screw that up. And I don't have the money to buy a second seat in advance. They'll refund you the money, but I don't have the money to front the money. So
they'll refund you the money in the form of a credit to be used on another flight.
No.
Are you
Not
sure?
If you're a person of size, they actually refund you the money.
Wow. So,
but if I had the money to do that,
so
then I would
there's no difference in checking in and using your phone, and then checking in at the airport.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't see how that affects you going to the counter.
I still have to go to the counter no matter what.
You still have to,
because even if you bought a second seat, that you still have to go talk to the ticket agent, and they have to do the refund process on their computer for the second seat.
Right, but I'm just talking about getting your boarding pass.
No, that's okay.
I mean,
I have the app.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah,
they'll print me my boarding pass right there. I enjoy customer service. I really do.
In what I do everything on the app. I don't have a printed boarding pass. I use a sky cap. I don't
use a sky cap.
I use a sky cap. I leave my luggage there, and then I go right to TSA. I mean, come on. I mean, why make things complicated?
I have no idea. I haven't flown in 8 years.
Since the last time you told somebody, if you want my arm up, you can hold it up, right?
8 years.
That was 8 years ago?
I'm going to have to learn how to fly. Yes, you're right. It was 8 years ago.
Wow.
Oh, no, I take that back. That was Arizona. We went to Arizona about 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Put your arm up, lady. I can't do that. Put your arm up, lady. I can't do that. If you want my arm up, you're going to have to hold it up there. We have a situation here. I'm 70-something years old. Why do I look like a situation? And, of course, the minute they said that, I love these TSA people. I think they were trained by the registry. And they, the minute you say that, of course, everybody ducks for cover because they're sure that you're doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then they turn around and they say, this 100-pound-year-old ancient person with wrinkles, that's the situation? Okay, then we're good.
You think you're from the Jersey Shore now or something? The situation.
You know what, Pete? I didn't have it open, but I have it open now.
Uh-oh. He's been playing again. But I'm going to have to learn to fly because I'll have to go to New Zealand. And that's what? That's a 17-hour flight or something like that?
Good luck with that one. That'll take forever.
Yeah, it does. And then you go...
Bring me back some kiwi fruit.
Some kiwi fruit. And you go ahead a day when you fly out there because it's the next day. Like right now in New Zealand, I want to say it's probably maybe, 3 a.m. on Wednesday morning. I'm not exactly sure, but somewhere around there. So we change time zones. And when you come back, you go back a day. So it should be a lot to adjust to flying around. Dead air. Hello. Yoo-hoo.
You have 6 saved messages. Saved message.
Received an order, and it looks like 2 pending matters attached to your name. Unfortunately, I was unable to reach you by phone. I will have to move forward with the next procedure. You have the right to contact the client to resolve this matter voluntarily. Do understand, when you are located, you will forfeit that right. They can be reached at
405-369-2018.
Your file number is
201915970. To replay this message, press 1.
I called them
To
right
delete,
back.
Press 7. To return the message sender's call, press 8. To save, press 9.
I'm being
Message saved.
sarcastic.
Saved message.
pending matter in our office. It is urgent that we speak with you to discuss your options and avoid further action.
I love the one where you're going to be arrested.
Message saved. Saved message.
Now, in accordance with federal and state law, we are making our final attempts to reach you regarding a pending matter in our office. If we don't hear back from you today, this matter will be recommended for further action.
Can't even get a real voice. That's a computer voice.
Message saved. Saved message.
Hey, this message is for Candy Stomsky. My name is Monica at Resource Management Group. I need to speak with you to solve an account issue at 877-711-5290. Correct extension is 8007.
Trying to sound like my best friend there.
To replay. Message saved. Saved message.
It is urgent that you contact our office immediately to discuss this matter to avoid further action. Press 1 to speak with the file manager now, or contact us at 980-999-8205.
Message saved. Saved message.
Attempt to contact you to resolve an issue with one of your accounts. If we don't hear back from you today, your file will be recommended for further action. Press 1 to speak with a file manager now.
Message saved. There are no more messages. Main menu. To
You are very popular. You're either going to end up in jail or
That was all
with these people.
That was all in 1 week.
Wow. I don't get that many. My favorite one was the one that says, if you do not respond immediately, the cops will be at your door.
Will get you and you will be arrested.
The cops.
The cops.
Because everybody says that in a professional message. It's hilarious. Were you scared?
And you know, I don't give my cell phone number out.
No, I don't either. I don't either.
Man. So I just started saving them. I'm like, okay, how many different ones will I get in a week? And that's what happened.
Oh, my Lord.
And I see the green light flashing over on the dump machine. I think what I was forcing folks into was not successful. Actually, it probably was successful. And nobody knows what I'm talking about because it was dumped.
Most of it.
I did
Most of it.
I did dead air. And I just sat here looking back and forth at you two to see who would crack first, and no one did. And I think we hit 15 seconds, and Pete started to get antsy, so he dumped the last 14.
The people on Channel 15 saw it all.
Yeah. and they probably saw me.
That's all we were doing, smiling at each other.
Yeah, smiling at each other, looking back and forth. But if you're listening terrestrially, Pete dumped 13.9 seconds of
which was pretty much the duration of it.
Yeah.
Good call, Peter. Good call.
And then that's when I decided to play my phone messages. Got a couple of minutes before we hit the quarter after and before Chef gets back in here. You've got another thing happening that you're looking for actors.
We are. We have auditions still tonight for A Christmas Carol, which is our Christmas musical coming up in December. We need approximately 40 people in the cast. Adults, children over, I think 9 or 10, I'm not exactly sure. They'll have to go to westfieldtheatergroup.com to get the exact age. But we need 27 adults and about 12 or 13 children. So come on down. If you've never done it before, that's perfectly okay. We don't mind. The other thing I have coming up in July is I also run a theater camp for children 9 and up.
That's when you disappear for a month.
I know, honey, I know, but I need the money. I'm old. We run two-week sessions from 9 to 12. I'm not exactly sure what school it's in. It's historically been at Southampton Road, but this year that's where the summer school program is running, so I don't know if they've changed the venue. But the information is on the Westfield cityofwestfield.org. Go to the Park and Rec Department, and they will give you all the information. So if you have a child out there that loves theater or one who doesn't, I have to tell you, at the end of the 2-week session, we do a performance for the public, and what these kids do is absolutely amazing. They amuse me. They entertain me. It's just great fun. We have a good time. So come on down. We'll find something for you to do. Ken, we can put you on stage. Well, maybe not. Never mind. You do enough damage behind the microphone.
That'd be a negative for me, ma'am.
Negatory?
Negatory.
Yeah.
Negatory.
Yeah, I'm definitely not in the positive with doing that.
Getting on stage. Have you ever done anything on stage like that?
I don't have an issue with stage. I can't commit to the practices and then the performance.
Yeah.
It just locks me down too much. I can't do that.
It is a long time. With the Christmas one, we try to be a little bit more understanding.
Plus, it's Christmas.
It is.
Ugh.
Oh, here goes the humbug. He's going to start on this early. So listen, I have a bone to pick with you. Your London broil that you did was awesome looking.
Yeah, wasn't
awesome.
it?
Oh, yeah.
Too much for one person to eat alone.
That's what I thought. Thank you, Peter.
Yeah.
He could have called you and I, couldn't he? And the girlfriend.
Yeah, I know.
Could have called us. Did he? No. He puts it up on Facebook and goes,
Na, 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 na.
look what I... And London broil's tough to cook.
Yeah. And I will...
How would you beat it senseless with a sous vide?
And on the other side of the break, now that the chef is back, we will get into why that looked so good and it was so tender. Be right back.
jam, pump it up while your feet are stumping. And the jam is pumping, look ahead, the crowd is jumping. Pump it up a little more, get the party going on the dance floor. See, cause that's where the party's at, and you find out if you do that. I want a place to stay, get your booty on the floor tonight, make my day. I want a place to stay, get your booty on the floor tonight, make my day. Make my day, make my day, make my day, make my day. Yo, pump up the jam, pump it up while your feet are stumping. And the jam is pumping, look ahead, the crowd are jumping. Pump it up a little more, get the party going on the dance floor. See, cause that's where the party's at, and you find out if you do that. I want a place to stay, get your booty on the floor tonight, make my day. I want a place to stay, get your booty on the floor tonight, make my day. 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 Yo, pump up the jam, pump it up, I pump it up. Yo, pump it, pump up the jam, pump it up, I pump it up. Yo, pump it, pump up the jam, pump it up, I pump it up. Yo, pump it, pump up the jam, pump it, pump it, pump it, pump it. Pump up the jam, I pump up the jam, pump up the jam, pump it up, I pump it, pump it, pump it, pump up the jam, pump up the jam, pump up the jam, pump it, pump it, pump it, pump it, pump it. Pump up the jam, pump it up while your feet are stumping. And the jam is pumping, look ahead, the crowd is jumping. Pump it up a little more, get the party going on the dance floor. See, cause that's where the party's at, and you find out if you do that. I want a place to stay, get your booty on the floor tonight, make my day. I want a place to stay, get your booty on the floor tonight, make my day. Pump up the jam, pump it up, I pump it up. Yo, pump it, pump up the jam, pump it up, I pump it up. Yo, pump it, pump up the jam, pump it up, I pump it up. Yo, pump it, pump up the jam, pump it, pump it, pump it, pump it. Pump up the jam, pump it up, I pump it up. Yo, pump it, pump up the jam, pump it up, I pump it up. Yo, pump it, pump up the jam, pump it up, I pump it up. Yo, pump it, pump up the jam, pump it, pump it, pump it, pump it, up, I pump it up. Make my day, 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 make my day. Yo, I want a place to stay, get your booty on the floor tonight, make my day. I want a place to stay, get your booty on the floor tonight, make my day. I want a place to stay, get your booty on the floor tonight, make my day. I want a place to stay.
Underwriting for community radio is provided by the YMCA of Greater Westfield. Every day, the YMCA strengthens the community through programs and services focused on youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. For all the Y's many programs and services, visit us on the web at www.westfieldymca.org. The YMCA, 67 Court Street in downtown Westfield. We're more than a gym. We're a cause. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
Discussions of local politics, events, happenings, and miscellany potpourri. That's what you'll find on Ken's Den, Tuesdays from 8 till 10.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
You don't have to ring the bell. Come on in, Chef. Welcome back. When
and your toys.
When we move down the Studio 120, we have to have an audio feed going over to where I'll be sitting.
That's fine. I'll buy two 25-foot cables.
That is going to be a necessity.
Oh, boy.
He's dangerous. You know that. He's dangerous.
Yeah, and you know how dangerous I am? I just keep buying friggin' toys, all right? my Toto toilet, okay, the novelty already wore off, so I had to buy something else.
That's right. We haven't heard about that lately.
I'm still super clean. Okay, I'll just say that. Okay. But I've been wanting an immersion circulator for a couple of years, and
all right. Now, before you start, there are people out there like me who would not know what that is.
I'm going to hit you over the head.
I'm going to get into that.
Okay.
It's a hot tub for your food.
Okay.
That's really what it is.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, it's a wand, and you put it in a pot or whatever. And
I had one for my bathtub back in the 90s. It just didn't get as hot, apparently.
That might be a little big for what I'm using it for. But it's to cook sous vide.
Now, does it generate its own heat too, or do you have to put the pot on?
No, it generates its own heat.
Yeah, these are amazing.
Could you do me a favor and spell that honestly, sous vide?
Sous vide, SOUS space VIDE.
It's a French term, not an American word. That's why it doesn't make sense to you.
Yeah.
Makes perfect. I know my friend Scott, who's a huge barbecuer, loves to sous vide. He's got the commercial industrial machine.
Oh yeah, well if you're into doing a lot of big barbecue, then you'll do big batches like to sous vide your wings to get them before you throw them in a smoker and things like that, or any product is really kind of big application.
So the decent ones are $100 plus, the immersion circulators.
Not Kenny though.
And
Kenny deals with eBay.
And I just know how to look for things.
Dun, dun, dun.
I spell things wrong, hoping to find somebody who put up a listing spelled incorrectly, and it's not coming up in searches for other people.
Who would think of that?
Now my trick is out.
Everybody knows.
I've been doing that for years.
He's also looking for knockoffs. So oftentimes they won't spell things properly on knockoffs.
Plus a simple typo like a J instead of a K or something like that they don't catch. I'll just try it. And this is basically an Innova brand sous vide wand. And it goes for about anywhere from 90 to 140. I got it, and I don't care where the seller got it from. I'm not going to ask any questions. $20, brand new.
Really?
Oh yeah, I had to, and $11 for shipping.
Was there two of them, or just one? Should order me one, you rat bastard.
He may still have some. Do you want me to send you the link?
Oh no.
Yeah, or just order me one. I'll give you $35.
All right. All right. Are you serious?
Yes, I'm dead serious.
Oh, okay.
Because I can use it like a crock pot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I could start it when I leave for work in the morning and just let it go all day.
Yep. And it's gonna be right when you come back, especially for like some of that nice tender stuff.
You can buy cheaper cuts of steak and meat and things like that and cook them all day.
So now,
Chef
knows what sous vide is.
Cast iron.
He hasn't really worked with it.
I've worked with it, but not with a home immersion blender. So that's the difference. So we used them commercially for years.
Oh, okay. The whole thing.
In bigger vats and in different systems. It's only now in the last few years that they're putting that in the hands of people in smaller plate operations.
And idiots like me.
Yeah. Home no.
Yeah. It's not really intended to break things down like a crock pot or a pressure cooker. It's intended to cook to a certain temperature and then hold it there and not overcook. Is that a good way of describing that?
But in the process of doing it, it actually does that.
It breaks it down a little bit if you go over the time that it needs.
Right, yeah, that's the thing, because it's all about time. Because it only gets to a certain temperature, so only so much breakdown can happen to that temperature. And you set that temperature, but even at the high range, that temperature, I don't know, is for, it would take a longer time still to break down a piece of meat than your traditional methods of like braising or stewing, which is why the crock pot is used for braising and stewing. The thing about sous vide is that there's no evaporation and there's no loss, so that's the big difference. Also, and in vacuum sealing it, there's a pressure angle that the fact that the food is pressurized or depressurized, however you want to put it, makes for changes the cooking time and temperature.
Well, I believe that's actually what sous vide means, under pressure.
Right.
Yeah. You like that, Kathy? I know French. Voulez-vous avec? No.
No.
I'm not. No.
Oh no.
Not gonna do that.
Back to sous vide.
I was educated.
So I put carrots in a vacuum lock bag with some Irish butter, and I dropped that in the sous vide at 187 for an hour and a half, and then they were to die for.
Irish butter.
Yes.
Oh.
Kerrygold butter.
Okay.
Yeah, it tastes better because the cows eat naturally, and you pick that up in the butter. You can taste it.
Well, it's amazing. That's a conglomerate. All of the dairy farmers in Ireland are basically part of an association that then they export the butter through the Kerrygold label. So it's pretty cool stuff.
I did not know that.
Yeah, you look at it. It's
much like Cabot Creamery for our region would be kind of a similar idea.
Our milk goes to Cabot.
Oh, did I pumped your cow was on Massive Field. Did you see that?
And you know what?
I did see that.
I mentioned that I was using butter made in West Springfield from cows from Westfield and Southwick. And
there you go.
Those are
I know that when I drink raw milk, and I'm not dead yet. So
shame on you.
I noticed.
That's illegal,
I noticed. Oh, you can drink it on your own farm.
On your own farm, yeah.
No, you can sell it. You can sell raw milk, but that you have to do it specially.
Do you drink it warm right out of the tap?
No.
Kenny?
No, I don't do that. But there's a difference. You were talking about the grass-fed. In the summer, they're out in the field, and I can tell the difference between the summer milk and the winter milk. It's much sweeter in the summer when they're eating the grass.
And cheesemakers
outside.
take big concern into what their cows are eating at times of the year for making the cheese because it flavors the milk. My favorite adage is when they purposely feed the cows the ramps in the spring to get the onion flavor that actually follows through right into the milk.
Oh my God!
So yeah, that's just that little strangeness, but because that they do that, it's kind of like the grass feeding and stuff like that for the meat. They're corn feeding and how we kind of take away the natural flavors, but in the milk it's kind of neat because it processes through in a more readily fashion.
And you definitely see that in the Irish butter because it's a different color even, and I think it has a different mouthfeel.
But butter's white. Butter itself is white.
Not this.
They
butter.
add the color to it, don't they?
I believe so.
Yes, butter itself is white, but we add color to it for some godly unknown reason. I have no clue why, but we do.
I'm going to have to check the package to see if there's any annatto added to that.
I don't know.
Would that be annatto they use?
In general, that would be the natural coloring that would be used in most dairy products for a yellowish tint.
Because you know how if you whip whipped cream too much, it turns into butter.
I think because you can't see white butter on bread.
Maybe. Yeah, that's a good point.
As simple as little things like that, somebody just thought it was a good idea to give us some. But who knows? That's an interesting fact to research.
White.
If anybody knows, they can call.
Pure white might look a little sickly too. I think
it might look like lard.
Very much.
Oh, yes. A lot.
Yes.
So maybe back in the day when you were using lard instead of butter, they wanted to differentiate it, maybe in a marketing technique. And now we think of it as buttery yellow, but that's not true. We've been lied to.
It's just about 9:31 in the morning. Pete, I want to do a quick break because we finally have Chef back in the studio, and I have oodles of things to chat at him about.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. On the web at baystatedental.com.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Friday mornings is something different on 89.5 FM. It's JP's Talk About Town.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
9:32 and a half, I'm close enough. So, I was just asked during the break, so what else are you going to, cook sous vide? And I'm rolling off a few things, and I'm told, no sense doing that. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but... you read a few things on the interweb, and you just got to try it. But one thing I do know is I'm going to try egg prep. It looks like I can actually poach an egg in its shell at a certain temperature for a certain time, and I'm going to try that.
Right. So there's all these formulas out there, I'm sure, on the internet, charts and tables.
And then there's some awesome slow different sets for egg
built
yolks
into this thing.
And you do it in the shell, and then you crack the shell open, and then you get this gorgeous egg coming out of it. So that's what I'm going to be playing with next weekend. It's difficult to nail that down perfectly on the stovetop with hot water,
right?
Because we you have a temperature range there. You have like probably 205 to 220, 225 within that range when you're boiling water. I'm guessing
water boils at 212 degrees.
Right. Okay, all right. You're probably at 212 to maybe 225, 230. There's a range there when you're at when you see it boiling. It might be a little more than 212. That's what I'm getting at. It might be 250.
We check our thermometers in boiling water. If it's boiling, the thermometer reads 212. So
I'm not talking about using a thermometer. I'm talking about looking at it and guessing, which is what most people do. But with the sous vide, you actually nail down a temperature to the third digit.
Well, boiling, as we know, that's what I'm getting at. Is boiling? You 100% know it's always 212 degrees.
Yes.
But you can't get lower. You can't anything lower than that. You cannot know precisely
at this altitude.
Now we're going to see it.
Oh boy!
Is that how it works?
Yes, I'm sure in Denver we would definitely have. I have a chef friend that lives in Colorado.
And it boils at like 195 or something like that.
There are differences, which is why there are high altitude recipes.
Okay.
I do know a thing or two. I'm not a professional chef, but I can keep up.
You know a lot of stuff, though, Kenny. That's a fact.
Is it?
If I'm ever on the mountain,
I didn't say what you knew was facts. I said you know a lot of stuff, and that's a fact.
So I'm going through the Rachel Ray Everyday magazine because I get that, along with Food Network and Gourmet.
Now, she American Runs on? Maybe not anymore, but was involved with that franchise with coffee, or is that a different one?
I don't know.
Coffee? I don't know.
She was marketing the D&D chain for a while. One of them was.
I don't remember that one.
All right.
So
she has a pet food.
A big pet food, olive oil line.
Yeah.
I think she was doing dressings now, and she's doing a clothing line now.
Oh.
Is it called Nutrish or something like that?
Nutrish is the pet food.
The pet food.
That's all of it, I think. All of her food stuff, and then she has cookware too.
Yeah, cookware. I think I knew she was doing.
Yeah.
So what's in her magazine, Ken?
So I'm going to walk up to the camera in a second so that people know what we're talking about. But basically, there's sky-high stacks of souffle pancakes. All right, and they call them Japanese-style souffle pancakes. And they look like pancakes, but instead of being a quarter of an inch high, they look like they're an inch and a half high apiece.
Yeah, I actually just watched an internet video with my son the other day of a chef that likes to make big food, make those that were about 1.5 feet across in that same style as a food item. So what's really cool with that is you fold egg whites to give lift to the batter, much like any other souffle, and you cook them basically on a flat surface or like an oven without flipping them, so that they won't get that crisp side on both sides of the pancake. But
are you using the egg white as the only leavening, or are you still using like a baking powder or something in there?
There are a couple different recipes out there that I believe I've seen leavening agents, but the egg white is what gives them that huge change the stiffness and allows it.
Have you actually tried these yet?
I have not. I literally just things are trendy. They're in this magazine. They're popping up on the internet all within the same couple of weeks. So there's something that's just hitting our trends.
So it's just happening.
I'm sure they're
now.
out there. People have maybe make them and specialize them, but I have not seen them mainstream anywhere.
Yeah, they're mentioning 3 or 4 different restaurants that you can actually find these at.
But that's a fun experiment to try.
I think I might try that.
Yeah, I mean, I love my pancake recipe. Took me and my sous chef Steve way back in the day about 3 months to perfect, and so we really like our pancake recipe for classic style.
So it's
American
not just
pancakes.
Bisquick and water.
No, none of that here. But it'd be fun to play with the.
That's how Kathy
effect.
does it, right? Bisquick and water.
Yeah, you know the frozen ones you put in your toaster.
Oh.
My mom, probably chocolate chip for you, right?
Aunt Jemima.
My mom was into the shake and
No,
pours.
I don't like chocolate chip pancakes.
I don't either.
I just, there's something about it. And I like chocolate chip cookies, but I don't like chocolate chip muffins. I don't like chocolate chip pancakes. I don't know what it is.
And I'm not big into chocolate, but I do actually appreciate chocolate chip pancakes sometimes.
Do you?
See, I'm a traditional blueberry.
I like the blueberry,
blueberries.
yeah.
They have to be the wild blueberries.
I do like the blueberry ones.
Just ran into my blueberry farmer the other day recently, so
They're not. They shouldn't be ready yet.
No. But most of the big blueberry operations freeze. So he has the wild blueberries, and they do freeze them when they're peak season, so they kind of have them till the next season.
Nice.
That kind of thing. So
When is the peak season for blueberries?
I want to say July, but
it seems a little early.
I think it's late. Is it more close to August? Probably the end of July, beginning of August. I'm not a blueberry farmer, but I did a blueberry farmer's wedding once, and we had blueberry sausages on the company, blueberry venison sausages in the charcuteries. I made a blueberry wedding cake. We had blueberry jam for all of the guest favors.
It's like going to IHOP. You have the different flavored. Remember those? Yeah. While we're talking about blueberries, before I go on to the next article I found, I do want to bring something up, and maybe you can bring light to it. You go through the supermarket now, and you can land yourself a quart of strawberries now for $2.49, $2.99. They're popular right now because they're in season, and of course in the supermarkets we're getting all those from California. Now here's something that I started to do a few years ago. I've learned that I need to macerate the strawberries in order to get any real deep flavor of strawberry out of them now.
I mean, it's just tough that the mass producers of our produce from certain regions of the country or the world have to pick the food kind of prematurely ripe in order for it to make transport. A properly ripe strawberry that you can get at one of the farm stands right now here in Westfield or in the surrounding towns is only going to last 24 hours, maybe 36 before it just starts to decompose because it's so ripe and full of of the sun and nature and stuff like that. So when they're that ripe, there is no shelf life. So you're never going to get them in a grocery store that ripe. Luckily, a few of our grocery store chains do carry some of the local products, and they'll have a little sign next to they'll have the California ones, and then they'll have the native ones in the front.
So I should get myself down to the farmer's market.
The farmer's market at one of our farm stands, or the Pick Your Owns right now, is at their peak. The Strawberry Festival, I think, is coming up in Westfield this week, too.
Thursday.
Yep. Okay, then that's on downtown and over at the church, I believe.
Yes.
So there's a lot of strawberries is right now.
So locally, I probably won't have to take them home and macerate them to get any flavor.
No, they're like eating sunshine, right? So,
wow. And Kathy, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
My gardening background always teaches me to, the harvesting time. So you want to wait for a day or two. You always watching the crop for the right day to harvest. So in the situation of pick, you want to wait for a day that was rained maybe a day and a half or 2 days beforehand, so the ground is wet and they've absorbed as much moisture as they can, and then at least let them get a full morning of hot sun, and then that brings out the flavors. And I always find that's for strawberries myself is like eating sunshine. Same with tomatoes. I feel like picking the cherry tomatoes at their ripest point. That's
I eat those right off the vine.
So speaking of tomatoes, I just stopped out, and Russell, my farmer Fran, works with me extensively over the last many years for many of my restaurants and clients, and he's got all of his one-man farm in the ground. He grows a variety of tomato called Mountain Fresh. He's been growing it for years. It's literally my favorite tomato because it has flavor all the way through and meat all the way through. There's only a small amount of seeds and jelly, so you really, when you're eating a ripe tomato, it's awesome.
So it's almost like a San Marzano, which is just just meat, and,
right?
and
but
no
it's a globe,
no liquid, no seeds or anything, just all the way through.
But it's a globe-shaped tomato for sandwiches.
Uh-huh.
So that's the beauty of it. And he's been growing that variety on the hillside in Russell now for years. And I just went to see. He's already got plants that are 2 feet tall with flowers. So
I would love to whiz those in my Ninja for some juice.
He's got greens right now, spinaches and lettuces and all that kind of stuff.
Speaking of greens, where can I get green tomatoes?
You have to grow them, Kenny. Farmers want to sell them when they're red because they're worth more. So you're very rarely, every now and then or if you go to a farm stand week after week, if you ask nicely to the farmer, say, could I harvest them? Could I have some green ones because I want to do fried green tomatoes or whatever?
Yeah, I pickle them. Yeah, I love a pickled green tomato.
Kettle One used to include pickled green cherry tomatoes as like an olive instead of olives for one of the packets. So over the years, I made my own pickled cherry tomatoes for that purpose.
Yeah, tomatoes just have never grown well in my yard, so the only ones I actually grew and pickled were the cherry tomatoes. And I learned that before I put them in the mason jar and go through the pickling process, you take a toothpick and you run it through that that cherry tomato, because if you don't, when you actually go to shove that into your pie hole and bite down on it, it is an explosion.
Yeah.
So that's not a bad idea. I love the farm stands, but my problem is after a day at work getting frustrated with idiots and numbskulls, by the time I get off the pike.
Or say I go up to Pignatures right around the corner.
Yeah, I
up on North Road.
My mind is going home.
No,
I
don't. Pignatures, right?
That's not
North Road. What's the one up on North Road?
East Mountain Road?
Kaczynski's.
Kaczynski's on North
Pignatare is
Road.
out on East
Mountain.
East Mountain, okay.
Yeah. I just never think of stopping by the time I drive back into town.
And that's not bad up there because you can just get off the highway and just circle around back into Kaczynski's.
So I do have a question from one of our listeners.
Really?
Submitted via the internet.
Okay.
Web, yeah. People do listen.
You said there were 22. This could be up to 23.
Might be.
It could be. We're moving up.
We all know about cordon bleu and the French culinary and various cooking classes through Holyoke community. A lot of these teach you to become a cook or a chef for a career. Are there any classes or any schools or something like that out there where you can just go and grab a few lessons just to learn to cook for fun? Are you aware of anything like that?
Well, that's one of the services that I provide. If people want to schedule a class or a group, I do it on one-on-ones for people who want to learn a dish, or if you want to have a gathering of 6 or 10 friends to learn how to do certain things. That's one of those custom programs available at chefjohnslattery.com. Because that's what I want to do in my career at this point in time, is to help other people, individuals, and operations really learn more about food and better themselves, their diets, or their operations, however I can help. Those kind of contacting me is a good way to learn stuff,
and a good way to not give any of the business to your competition too. 9:45, Pete. Quick break, please, and then we're gonna talk about something that just defies conventional wisdom.
Underwriting support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Greater Westfield Chamber of Commerce, the voice of business for the Greater Westfield communities. Informing, educating, advocating, the Chamber provides opportunities for members to make meaningful connections on local, regional, and state levels. For more information on the Chamber's many events, workshops, and programs, as well as the benefits of membership, visit westfieldbiz.org. The Chamber focuses on the most important economy, yours. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Commercial Distributing Company of Westfield. Now in its third generation of family ownership, Commercial is one of the premier beverage distributors of Western Massachusetts. The Plasek family and the staff of Commercial Distributing wishes you good times throughout the year and urges you to drink responsibly. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Friday mornings is something different on 89.5 FM. It's JP's Talk About Town.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. from the campus of Westfield State University. This is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Okay, Chef, I really can't get my head around this. And I briefly touched upon it during a break. Marinating after the fact. All right. Now this is. I'll read the paragraph here, and you tell me what you think about it. It's conventional summertime wisdom, and the conventional summertime wisdom holds that marinating and grilling are always to be done in that order, the former before the latter. But why, really, when the moisture and sugar in most marinades can actually cause the protein to simultaneously steam and burn without ever truly searing? Instead, we're flipping the script and marinating after grilling. We've been inspired by the technique known as escabeche, found in the cuisines of Spain, the Mediterranean, and Latin America. It involves cooking fish and meat, then preserving them in an acidic mixture. This time around, we're putting an impeccable sear on swordfish steaks, flank steak, and summer vegetables, then soaking them in a punchy bath. The longer they sit, the more flavor they'll absorb. Just gently warm them and serve.
Okay.
All right.
Now, that's what I was thinking they were going to do.
All right. What's your take on that?
Well, I don't call it marinating per se, but I guess it does because it is breaking down. So yes, it is some sort of marinade, and I get that. And it's preserving the food, so if you want to eat preserved food, but that means you're.
And how does it penetrate the sear, though?
Well, they're circling for a long period of time, so I'm guessing that it's long enough for it to get through the cracks and crevices and break down.
And then
the vinegar's going to break down the sear.
Then you lose that crust and whatnot when you go.
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking about. So in the purpose of that is why we put sugar in marinades to some extent. It's because we want it to caramelize and give us that on the outside.
I put brown sugar on my meat before I put it in the fry pan.
There's a lot of brown sugar or sweeteners in like teriyaki or any of those kind of sauces that we traditionally use as marinades. Because we want that caramelization factor later. So I mean, it's a definitely a method. Like reverse escabeche. It's like reverse ceviche, where they only cook the swordfish only in the vinegar without any heat element. So it's
the vinegar kind of
put
cooks
the sear on it, and then they're just gonna reintroduce it to the vinegar type solution to break it down and then warm it again. So I don't know.
Now ceviche is generally cold too.
Ceviche is not cooked. That was what I was getting at. But it's a similar, just a cooking process using the Spanish there.
And it's not necessary. This doesn't have to be a vinegar with ceviche. It just has to be some type of acid.
Right.
It could be a wine too, right?
I don't know. Wine by itself wouldn't have enough acid.
Not enough.
So you would usually in combination with other acids.
Yeah.
Because there are other acids.
So I don't think that's the technique I'm going to be trying.
I mean, I do use a similar method like for banquets where I want the sliced chicken to be juicy. So I'll cook it to exactly the right temperature, and then I'll cool it down almost in a flavored slurry, like a dressing or something like that, so that when I do go to heat it up, it's kind of had some time to absorb it. But that's not something I would do like for my meal. I don't. But it's different.
I can see that. We were talking about the farmers markets here, and there is a online store called Misfits Market. Right, and basically they take the ugly fruit and the ugly vegetables, and they sell them at a discounted price because supposedly they're just as good as the pretty-looking ones.
Well, they're certainly just as good as the pretty-looking ones because we don't. The nutrition doesn't change based on the way that the growing conditions shape the fruit or vegetable. So that's a kind of a problem in America that we are trained to only eat the pretty ones, and we're only sold the pretty ones. And there's a lot of wastefulness in the agriculture industry because we're so focused on that apple has to be perfectly round and the right shade of red and no blemishes, and it's a dissatisfaction. Other countries are definitely getting big onto this, where they're providing that ugly fruit to either at discount or even free to the poor and the people that need it. So I've always that when I'm talking to a purveyor and I'm ordering for a restaurant and I need the carrots, I always order the 50-pound bag of ugly carrots because a carrot is a carrot is a carrot. And as a chef, I actually like getting the big bag of what we call ugly carrots. They're too big or whatever because you can sort through that and utilize the different shaped ones for different dishes. Or you might find, so there's and the same with the potatoes. Mashed. If you get the mixed bag of possibly ugly potatoes, well, you put the ugly ones and you use those for mashed potatoes, and you take the ones that look pretty.
You're gonna mash them anyway.
So you're gonna, there's a lot to be said for that.
I've also
there's
seen
a museum for foods that look like other things.
Other
somewhere
things
out
too.
There, right?
Yeah. Not only are the ugly foods mentioned in this article, but I've actually seen some TV shows where they talk about going out and just buying the ugly fruit and the ugly vegetables, and they actually suggest going to a farmer's market towards the end of the day and trying to make a deal or bargain on any ugly fruit or vegetables that the farmers may not have on display, because they're displaying all the pretty ones because that's what everyone wants to purchase. And does that happen around here? Are farmers markets, are they big enough where
no, they're pretty much putting out everything they got, and they're going to sell whatever it looks like for the most part. I don't think you're going to get a discount because it's a little misshapen. I mean, agriculture is an expensive business to be in. I was talking about One Man Farmer Fran. That's a hobby that he invests in. It doesn't.
So when they're suggesting that, they're suggesting, one of the many markets out in L.A. where everything's just coming in.
That's where they're getting commercial stuff. When our farmers are growing their food, they need to get the money that they can for it to help sustain their farms and to keep that process going. If we want to eat local food and we want to eat farm fresh food, we have to be able to support them. We have to stop saying that food is expensive. I didn't come up with this, but I heard it the other day. Food is not expensive. Organic food, healthy food from farms is not expensive. It is valuable, and that is the big difference. That food that is grown near us and with care is more valuable, and we should. When we spend our money and we think about our budgets, what our value goes for, our health should be one of our most important things, our family's health. And, putting the value in the right place is something we should think about. I like to think.
I can agree with that. And what people don't understand is if they don't support your local family enterprises, whether it's a small business or a vegetable farm, you will miss it when it's gone.
Absolutely.
Because
once they're gone, they're not coming back.
They're not coming back, and you're going to be paying for vegetables to be trucked in from New Jersey, some of the larger states that can afford to grow it the way they can. And you're right, it isn't going to have the food value. It doesn't have the freshness. I think the supermarkets today try as hard as they can to put the freshest things out there. But if it's traveling for several days...
Well, and that leads to that waste scenario where the supermarkets are dumping away tons of food, and it's being trucked using all that carbon energy to get trucked across the country to then be thrown away is just a huge waste in our agricultural society right now.
Where can we get real traditional seeded watermelon? Because I think that actually tastes like watermelon, not.
Haven't they bred it out, the seeds? Like the newer version, they breed it out.
Plenty of farm stands still grow.
They still have the
regular
seeds.
Classic heirloom variety of watermelon.
I know people that have tried to grow. People that try to grow watermelon from the dried out seeds.
Oh yeah, it works. It should work. Well, with some of that hybrid stuff doesn't work. But I have the example with tomatoes, where I had a hothouse tomato that I bought in December and left it on a shelf just off the side until I noticed in the middle of January it had like pimply skin, and I said weird, but it wasn't soft or rotten yet. And I said that's really weird. And then the next day, little plants started growing out of the hothouse tomato from the grocery store, and I grew it into a series of tomato plants that ended up growing in my living room, and I planted them outside, and I had some tomatoes off of them, and they were self-seeded, and they're growing, and I have a second generation of a grocery store misfit, so it's possible.
I have to tell you, I looked out my living room window the other day, and I went, what the heck is that? What is that? And I went out and looked, and outside of my window I have a lot of tiger lilies because it's very damp and it's shady and they grow like crazy. In the middle of my tiger lily is this one, oh, wait a minute, maybe I should check the sky. There's this one corn stalk trying to grow up in the middle of my tiger lilies. I'm assuming that a bird must have dropped a seed.
Now, aren't lilies tied to the garlic family? Am I thinking of the right one?
I don't know.
No, I don't know. I know that the tiger lilies, the leaves are edible, but
maybe that's what I'm thinking
but,
of.
I don't know that they're specifically in any of that allium family.
There's that
allium family.
There's that corn stalk. So maybe Jack is up there. I should watch it.
Oh,
Jack? That was a beanstalk, not a corn stalk. Come on, Kathy.
Darn it all! And I was so hopeful.
She was hoping for that magic.
How many years did you teach elementary school?
Well, I didn't teach Jack and the Beanstalk.
You wouldn't teach it. You would read it, right?
You're right. But anyway, there it was. And a couple of years ago, I sporadically had sunflowers growing that just all of a sudden appeared out of nowhere.
Last year, I started feeding the birds in the spring because my neighbor had cut down a tree and there was like a hole in the spot. And so when the first snow started, I fed the birds, and then all of a sudden about this time...
Feed the bears?
All the bird seeds, sprouted. And so then I had a whole little sunflower patch that I was able to harvest flowers from for the end of the summer, and then all the other bird seeds kind of sprouted. So at the fall, the birds came and just ate the bird seed that had grown and resprouted. Pretty exciting.
9:57, Chef John Slattery, I want to thank you for coming in this morning. We actually got a lot of food talk done today.
Yeah, it was an enjoyable show today, Kenny. Thanks a lot for having me.
Speaking of food talk, when's the next time you're on WWLP?
Should be it's the second week of the month, usually on a Thursday. It could be on a Wednesday, something like that. You can always check on my website at chefjohnslattery.com or check me out on Instagram as well. See what I'm up to.
Awesome. Next week on the show, we are not doing Making the List. Too many people are just not available.
Yeah, it's summertime.
So it's going to be on hiatus until August. I might have car guy Mark Whitney in next week. He's going to
depending on his Uber schedule.
He's going to check his Uber schedule out, and if he's not here, I'll come up with something. Big Brother is going to be starting up that night, so I'll have plenty of things to talk about, Kathy.
Oh, goody.
2 weeks from now, Ward 4 Councilor Mike Burns will be in the studio.
And there you go.
And then after that, we have one more week up here before we say goodbye to the studio at Ely. And hello to the... Actually, we won't be immediately saying hello to Studio 120 because you're going to be away.
Yeah, 1st of July. I'll be there for the first 2 weeks.
And speaking of being away, I see you getting itchy. You have a plane to catch, so I'll shut up. I'll catch you next week.
Bomba-dee-da, 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 bomba-dee-da,
until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then.
Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and think about sunny weather.
Happy trails to you till we meet again.